very long question though.
Exactly.
I try to do it very quickly. I started playing drums in 1994 when I was 9 years old, and I always practice with a teacher, and I'm still going to a teacher at the moment, and I really like to practice a lot and find my way to experiment on new stuff on drums. So I'm never satisfied of what I see around from the drumming community. I'm still searching for something new that's cool for me.
Okay.
And I really like all styles of drumming, and that's maybe a little problem for me because I cannot choose what I want to do when I'm older, so
I know the feeling.
Yeah, so I play metal with my band, but I also like fusion, jazz, pop, rock, whatever. So I try to do my best to play authentically every style of music, and that's pretty much my goal. And also experimenting, new stuff, practicing as much as possible. Cool. That's pretty much my point of view on it. My main project is, as I said, my band, but as a session drummer I need to work, so I need to do gigs of no matter what kind of music it is. So in my experience I had the chance to play at some TV shows like Saturday Night Live, Cabaret Night. I also did a fiction, like a TV fiction show.
Really?
Yeah, as an actor though. I also played drums too, because I recorded the soundtrack of the fiction, but I actually was an actor in the series. It was an 8 show.
What's the name of the series?
Non smettere di sognare on Channel 5.
Okay.
Canale 5. Yeah, that's funny. I didn't, it was kind of surprise, but it was interesting.
Yeah.
And I think half of the work on doing that is listening to the music you want to play. Because first of all you have to understand the language, so which are the important things about the music you have to play, and also I think part of the process is unconscious. You just listen and then your brain comes out with the ideas, processing it without a conscious way. You just listen and you just got into the language. And then also you have to practice and study, the typical, rhythm or patterns or whatever you want to play. I think this is a...
So you develop the main language, let's say, of that kind of drumming, and then you listen to music, basically.
I try to do both at the same time.
Okay.
If I had to play a funky gig, I probably start listening to all the school stuff and new school stuff from funky, and try to practice on the song to get in the right mood to play the stuff.
Cool.
So I think it's I had this opportunity to meet these guys and play and chat with them, thanks to my buddy Dave Elitch, which is a very amazing drummer from the LA area, and he's one of those too. It's like always curious to see, and he's always he's always there to share material with you, and I think this is cool. Everybody can grow with this kind of
Nobody feels like arrived.
Exactly.
To their they're not accomplished to their mission.
And they also give you suggestions by their point of view. He's a really sincere guy.
They don't keep secrets.
No, and also if he thinks that something you're doing is not sounding that good, he's gonna tell you. It's like he's not saying important. You're great. No, he's like honest. Try to do it better, So it's important for me. It's a good friend. Absolutely. Drummers are a community.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about that is always that everybody wants to share something with you, and also they want to learn with you, even if they are, the world's famous drummer. But they're humble. They want to know what's your point of view on that. I have the opportunity to chat with Tony Royster Jr., Ronald Bruner, Chris Coleman, of course. I had this tour clinic with him last year, and they are super cool guys. They are incredible drummers, but they are, they are still curious to to listen to you, to listen to what you're playing. So actually, this was a really great experience for me to
Cool.
share this kind of thing with them.
Was it like a turning point of your drumming? Did it like
Well, I don't think it's a turning point, but of course it's an important passage of my life to be part of this moments with them. Hi everybody, I'm Federico Paulovich and I'm here to share with you some concepts that really helped me out in developing some ideas and phrasing on the drum set. So the first exercise I want to show you is about filling in every note of the subdivisions and trying to do different phrasing all the time, never repeating, and always filling every note of the subdivision. So I will start with 16 notes, and the tempo is 120 BPM, and I just try to play whatever comes to my mind and fill in everything. So sounds like this. Moving on, I'll try to do the same thing with an increased tempo. I'm at 135 BPMs, and notice that there are, my point of view, there are 4 different approaches on playing the crash cymbal with the drum set. So I can play the cymbals with the kick drum, or with the snare drum, or with the one of the tom-toms, or the cymbal by itself. So I will try to do these 4 examples separately, and then I'll try to do everything all together. So let's start with the cymbal and kick drum. Next one would be crash cymbals and snare drum together. Same story. Let's move to crash and toms together. So the last one is crash cymbals by themselves. So the final approach would be trying to mix those 4 kind of approaches to crash cymbals and toms all together. So I just move on to 170 BPM and I try to demonstrate you. So another exercise I want to show you is actually the opposite concept of this one that I've just showed you, and is about playing just one note in the precise position you decide. So I start once again with 16th note, and I think everybody can play, for example, the first 16 note subdivision. If I put the click, would be. But maybe you may have some problem in playing the other 16 notes of the subdivision. Let's start, for example, with the fourth one. So if I play all the 16 notes and put the accent on the fourth, so I only have to play that note, the fourth of the 16 notes. So let's try to do this. I start with just one hand, and then I try to do with the other hand together, and maybe try to do some combination of sticking. So and obviously, the faster you go, the more difficult it becomes. So I'll give you another example. Let's try with the second of the 4/16 note, and I think it's going to be like this. At this point, let's try to play both the second and the fourth. And that's something like this. So maybe you may get lost while playing this kind of stuff. So a suggestion I can give you is, just try to start with the first 16 note, and then when you're feeling that you're about to get lost, then close the phrase again on the downbeat. So something like that, like this. This maybe helps you to get in time. This is very, a mathematic approach, but this makes me sure that if I want to play that particular note, I will be in time. I will not be around that 1/16 note that I want to play. So 30-second notes. Let's start with the offbeats. And there will be the second, the fourth, the sixth, and the eighth note of the 30-second subdivision, and it will sound like this. So what you can try to do to explore this subdivision maybe is something about the sticking. So I can just keep this thing going and try to do, for example, singles, doubles, paradiddles, stuff like this. for example, I can try to put some accent. So considering the cycle of 4 notes, I can try to accent the first one, or the second, or whatever. So let's try something. So you can just experiment and find your own way to get creative on this. And another thing that you can do with this is just playing some of the 4 notes you're playing in each quarter note. So I can just play, for example, the first 3 of the offbeat, something like, instead of, I can play 1, 2, and 3. So, or 1, 2, and 4. 1, 3, and 4. Or 2, 3, and 4. So here's some example. Or for example, just play 2 on 3. So for example, I just remove 1 stroke every 3. So it's something like this. So one of the musical application that I like of those exercises is to keeping the backbeat on the snare drum as an ostinato, and then try to improvise on the offbeats with the hi-hat and the bass drum. So I'll give you some examples. Same story goes with the 16-note triplets feel, so I just try to do the same with a different feeling. Okay, so what you have just seen is a very mechanical approach to the instrument, and I have to say, when I was practicing this stuff, I had this problem. I usually could close every phrase using linear, sticking, whatever, but I felt kind of passive with the phrases I was playing. I was just throwing the hands, hoping that something cool, hopefully came out from the drums, but unfortunately not always this happened really. So I actually wanted to be more protagonist of my phrases, and I understood that I had to sing each single phrase I was playing, because the mechanical point of view is not the only one that can let you achieve the result you're looking for. The most important thing for a musician is to sing the phrases that he's playing, so he became the protagonist of the music. And I want to share with you this exercise that I recommend you to do first. This is the first thing you have to do before moving to the other two exercises I just showed you, because that kind of stuff gives you the understanding and the mechanics on the instrument, but it maybe not give you the musicality of the phrases. So the most important thing is musicality, because we are playing a musical instrument. And what I'd like you to do is to play whatever you want to play, but just singing the phrases you're playing. So I would start with a very apparently simple exercise, because I'm not using that much technique to play the phrases, but I want you to play a single bar phrase and then try to do the same exact phrase in the next bar. So, and once again, I suggest you to think first of only one subdivision. So I will start once again with the 16 notes, and keeping the time with the hi-hat, and try with very simple stuff at the beginning. So very simple stuff, but it's not so easy, because you have to remember what you just played. So pay attention while you're playing this kind of thing. And another very important aspect of this kind of playing is dynamics. You don't have to play everything only soft or only loud. The last example I want to give you is I challenge you to try to make some musical themes with the drums, which must have a structure, A, B, maybe a C, whatever. But you must remember the phrases you have just played, because if you don't remember the phrases, you don't have the theme. So let me just try to make something for you. As you could see, there was an A, a B, once again the A, the B, and the C, and then I just closed with the A. And I think everybody could recognize the three sections of the solo. So I encourage you to try this approach to the drums instead of just thinking about the licks, technique, rudiments, whatever. You must practice rudiments, but you must know how to use them. So I think this is a very good approach to drums. Try to make a composition, melodic composition. That's pretty much what I have to say. So thank you and goodbye.